do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who could move. Right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps to throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The picks, the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing as a new year has begun, and we kickstart the new year on the Thursday night throwdown. We got a full house on the program this evening. We've got big drama going on in the Canadian capital right now as Team Canada tied with the Czech Republic 3-3 with 3 minutes left. Canada just scored. We're down 3-2. Were monster favorites, not only in this game, but were the co-favorites to win the tournament, and they're minutes away from getting eliminated, actually, which would be an all-out complete disaster. It's an all-out complete disaster when they don't win the gold medal. It'll be like an all-out complete disaster if they don't win any medals and they don't make the medal round. Like, they're on the ropes right now. We got a 3-3 game. Canada does have a little momentum right now, but the drama is real. Meanwhile, we got a college football bowl game going on following the college football playoff game. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish used their defense and special teams, smash mouth. And I was on the Georgia Bulldogs, but I also did say leading into the football game earlier in the week that this isn't the same Notre Dame teams from like Brian Kelly's era where they used to get dominated by the top tier elite teams. Notre Dame are fast. Like I think, like I said, Notre Dame aren't usually like this. They're super fast. They have a nasty defense, and their quarterback just makes plays. Right, Riley Leonard, like he just does enough to get it done. He's really good at he's scrambling and he just sort of dives forward for 3 yards all the time. He picks up like 4 or 5 running, and then he dives. He finishes it off, and he picks up 6-7 yards. He's difficult to stop. So the Notre Dame Fighting Irish have pretty much silenced the shoulda, coulda, woulda SEC crowd. And if you look at the SEC in the playoffs, Tennessee got lit up. Georgia just got lit up. The Texas Longhorns, who really aren't an SEC team, but they are. It's funny because it's the first year of the SEC for them. So I guess the SEC can take ownership of them. But, hey, the Big Ten. Standing strong. And can you imagine if it ends up being an all Big Ten matchup, which it's a distinct possibility that it actually happens with Penn State and Ohio State. For the record, next Thursday night, Notre Dame, 1.5-point favorites over the Penn State Nittany Lions. Money line, minus 125. The total is 47 in that football game. Ohio State playing in a Cotton Bowl in Jerry's World in Texas's backyard. The Ohio State Buckeyes are suddenly the talk of the town right now, and they're 6-point favorites in the football game. Total 53.5. Ole Miss and Duke are playing. Right now it's 24-7 for Ole Miss. They were laying 18 points, so we'll keep our eye on this football game. College basketball, I got a couple of plays that I played. We've got the Oregon State Beavers taking on Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles, and it's a tricky gym to play in. It's one of those, old school college gyms. It's not an arena. Let's call it a gym, right? It's not very big, but the crowd is right on you. Loyola Marymount have been a good home team over the years, and they're a pretty good home team to start the season this year. The Beavers have been playing good basketball to start the season. 10-3 Beaver Basketball Club. We played the Beavers on the money line, minus 155. We played the Beavers minus 155 on the road in Los Angeles. Illinois and Oregon is the game of the night tonight. The Illini are getting 4.5 points. The total's 155.5. I'm leaning with Illinois plus the points, but I want to wait for the end game on this one. Like if the Ducks get up and I can get a 7.5, an 8.5 or something like that, I have a gut feel that if I take Illinois plus 4.5, 5, they're going to lose by 6. And I don't really want to lay the points with the Ducks. So we're gonna back off and wait for the end game for that basketball game. But we're playing the Beach tonight, Long Beach. Long Beach getting 4 points right now, 3.5, 4, hosting UC Riverside. Listen, Riverside have been good to us, and Long Beach have been pretty good to us over the years. Riverside are 9-5 on the season, but they're 6-0. They're only 3-5 on the road. For me, this one, I think this is a winnable game for Long Beach. I think this is going to be a super close game, and I think the total is a little light at 137.5. It's 138 now at some spots, 137.5, give or take, depending on where you're playing. But I think that UC Riverside and the Beach can get there and go over the number, and we took Long Beach plus the points. NHL hockey, Vancouver Canucks and the Seattle Kraken played last week, and the Seattle Kraken, I think they were only like the 4th team or 3rd team in NHL history. They basically scored like 4 goals in the last 5 minutes of the game, essentially. The Vancouver Canucks blew a 4-1 lead and lost 5-4. The Canucks have been they've been the kings of blowing leads this year, the Canucks. Like, they've blown numerous double goal leads so far this year. Now they're playing again. Seattle, and, you can say it's a rivalry. It's, it's new, whatever. The Kraken have only been in the league for a couple of years. But geographically wise, it's a rivalry. Like you'd say the Canucks' big rivals are kind of the Edmonton Oilers, right? Like that's kind of their rival, the Edmonton Oilers. But, being where they are, like you could say, well, oh my goodness. The Czech Republic just scored on Canada with 39 seconds left in regulation, on the verge of going to overtime. Canada takes a bad late penalty. The Canadian fans in the arena are in shock, like literal shock right now. Their faces. Wow. Canada ties the game, and they allow, boom. Yeah, it's not much the goalie could have done on that. It was a power play goal. One-timer from the face-off circle, from the left face-off circle. The type of save you want your goalie to make in a tie hockey game with an elimination spot on the line and 40 seconds left in the game. But it was a nice shot. The more I see it, I think he probably should have saved it. But, dear, you should see the faces in the crowd right now. Like, you want to talk about a deflating building. Like, whoa. The Czech Republic on the verge of pulling off a massive upset unless Canada could score in 38 seconds, and they lost the face-off. The puck, like, literally, they're going to need a miracle. Like, there's 30 seconds left in a hockey game. You're down by 1. You don't have the puck. You need to get the puck, and somebody needs to skate around everybody and put it in the net. It's not going to happen. The Czech Republic are doing a good job of buying time. In fact, they nearly just scored, the Czech Republic again. 13 seconds left. They've got one final drive here. Oh, you got a shot at it. Oh, it's offside. Canada is about to get eliminated. Wow. You want to talk about a meltdown. The people that are the most disappointed about this will be the television networks that get very, very big ratings for this, and ticket brokers that get big money for these tickets. Now, I don't think people are going to want to pay big money for Czechoslovakia versus Sweden's tickets in Ottawa. So ticket brokers just got punched in the mouth. TSN television just had their heart ripped out. And there's a poor little tyke in tears right now in the stands. It's a cold world. The Czech Republic are about to advance in the World Junior Hockey Championships, and Team Canada are going to be left searching for answers. So Brent Beard's going to step up and in. Brent Beard, our college football maven, SEC college football maven, steps up and in this evening. Heisman Trophy voter. We'll get his thoughts on the college football playoffs. The SEC been very disappointing. The Thursday night throwdown.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move. Right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore, because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown. Right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable. Right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, that hit. Remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The Thursday night throwdown. We got a full house on the program tonight. Brent Beard's going to step up and in. Big card Julio, the Steamroller, Scott Steen in the house tonight. The Czech Republic have just eliminated Canada and knocked Canada out of the World Junior Championships. A massive upset. Canada, man, they played 5 games and they lost 3 of them. So you know they just quite frankly weren't that good. They didn't deserve to advance. You know, watching the tournament, I thought they were too individualistic for the most part. They weren't very physical. They didn't have an identity. It wasn't like, yeah, listen, man, this Canadian team, like Canadian teams in the old days used to have an identity. They were going to steamroll you, run you over, smash your face into the glass, play physical hockey, knock you over, and put the puck in the net. There was no knocking anybody over, and there was no putting any pucks in the net. Everybody skated around, and they always looking for the perfect highlight reel goal. They just weren't, quite frankly, that good. And speaking of looking for the highlight reel goal and not playing the body enough and not winning one-on-one battles enough, the Vancouver Canucks are already trailing the Seattle Kraken 1-0. 4 minutes into this hockey game, Cam Stewart steps up, and then Cam, it was just like, I don't know, 5 days ago or whatever, right after Christmas, that the Canucks blew a 4-1 lead to the Kraken in like the game's last 5 minutes, and Seattle won the game 5-4. So now there's the rematch tonight. Vancouver have lost 5 of their last 6 games. Like, this really is the worst stretch of the season for the Canucks right now. They need to stop the bleeding and get a win tonight, and not exactly the best start for them right now. 1-0.
Gabe, I'm going to take them right now, plus 1.5, minus 140 on FanDuel Ontario. And I also get them at plus 200. I think that's good enough for me to jump in. I think they'll come back in this game. Oh, good. I'm on Utah. They just scored a goal against Calgary. I think they're a live dog tonight. Unbelievable, Gabe. The Sabres are up on Colorado 2-0. If you like the Avalanche, plus 1.5 even, and plus 250. Buffalo playing a little bit better before the break. They're kind of turning it around after a disastrous start. And Philadelphia is up on Vegas, buddy. A lot of pooches in the NHL tonight. And as we see, the Czech Republic takes out Canada. Great call by you. Very undisciplined team, too. Way too many penalties. They took the most in the tournament. A kneeing penalty with a couple minutes left. The Czech Republic scores on the power play. We're done. Yeah, very disappointing this year.
Yeah, the officiating was all over the place, but I'm not blaming the referees. But it was erratic, and Canada got burnt. Canada got burnt on shorthanded a couple of times. Czech Republic scored 2 power play goals tonight. They paid the price for it when they were just sort of like bad penalties. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this guy from behind now for no reason, or I'm gonna cross check this guy. Now, really, you're gonna knee somebody. There's 2 minutes left in a tie game, and you're thinking, yeah, now's a good time for me to get this guy back because he hit me earlier in the game. It's just it is what it is. So we've got a lot of stuff going on here in the late night hour, including the Gator Bowl, 31-7 for Ole Miss right now. Duke are down to their third string quarterback. One of these deals. It's too bad that this is what college football has come to. But that's the modern era that we're in right now. And it's funny because Duke have the Tulane quarterback coming in. They're paying the kid like $8 million. I think you're overpaying him, but that's just me.
just a little bit. No
$8 million for Mensa from Tulane? Really? Underwood at Michigan's thinking, man, I only got 10. What's going on here?
Exactly, Gabe. I got to tell you this, too. You're right. It's been really tough to watch these games and these teams and these programs roll out these people. But, the Notre Dame team really showed up for their coach. And I got to give Freeman credit for all the play calling and how aggressive they were today. And I'm happy for that program, actually, but I'm on Ole Miss in this game, but I need the over too, Morency. I took a page out of your book. I thought Ole Miss could get to that total by themselves tonight, and you know me, I don't lay 17, but I think they're going to smash Duke tonight. I'd even take them live. What are they, 27.5? I think they win this game probably by like 35.
Yeah, I've got an over 54.5, but I've got Duke plus 18, so I really only need one touchdown.
Yep.
Right? Make it 31-14 and actually backdoor this thing. 24-7, I wasn't feeling too bad about it right on the number. I kind of was hoping they would score the next points. Duke are moving the ball a bit right now. They're inside the 40-yard line of Mississippi. But as I stated, they lost both quarterbacks. So, their Malik Murphy split, and then their backup basically said, well, you guys are bringing Mensa in, and why would I play if you guys don't even like me? And you just brought in another quarterback. So, rightfully enough, he said, screw you, I'm leaving. And it left them, really left them behind the 8 ball tonight. It's too bad, though. It's too bad for, the teams that play these teams, too. You know what I mean? You want to go out with a bang. They need to retool bowl season, but they'll continue to retool this stuff. Yeah, you're right. Great performance. Freeman, he did show him going for it. He was always going for it. He was aggressive, trick plays. He was playing to win. He was coaching to win. And I give him credit.
Great
Oh,
special
yeah.
teams by the Irish. And another thing, too, their blitz packages, and Georgia has big boys on the offensive line. You saw, like, they're coming in like full speed, like sprinters.
Oh, their
at the
defense is the
Olympics.
real deal.
Oh, big time. Penn State, you better be ready for Notre Dame's D because these guys blitz and kill. Very impressive.
And it sets up now that we could have an all Big Ten matchup in the championship game with Ohio State and Penn State, potentially Notre Dame knock them off. Updated point spreads right now. We gave them to you off the top of the program, but if you're just joining us, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish open up as 1.5-point favorites over Penn State. The total is 47 in this football game. I kind of, you know what? I don't want to undersell Penn State, but I do lean Notre Dame. There's something about this team. Penn State are good, though. I mean, these two teams are they're very similar, actually, too. Like, you know, with the running backs. One thing we'll note, though, and we got to keep our eye on, is Jeremiah Love, the running back, number 4 for Notre Dame. He got hurt against USC. He played against Indiana, and he was playing today, and then he got hurt. Right? And he walked off the field on his own, but they're going to need Jeremiah Love in the lineup next week, Notre Dame. But, yeah, their defense, unbelievable stuff. And, I don't know, Cam, Georgia, kind of like Team Canada, right? Yep. Yeah, we're great. We're going to win just sort of by showing up. And when other teams start punching back, you know, suddenly they're not so great anymore. And it wasn't Stockton's fault, bro.
No,
those kids dropped 1 million passes. Like,
I agree. The receiver, other hand.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
They let the guy run the practice and leave the building, have a press conference, and then you fire him on a cell phone call while he's in the car. Shame on you, Sacramento. You haven't been good since Chris Webber, White Chocolate, Vlade Divac, Corliss Big Nasty Williamson, and obviously Rick Alleman as a coach. No one wonder why you've been a joke for the last quarter century.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. Still 1-0 for the Seattle Kraken right now over the Vancouver Canucks. I'm on Vancouver at over 5.5 in this game. 31-7. Duke were moving the football, but Ole Miss got it back. 31-7 Ole Miss. They're up 24. The total is 51.5 in this game. A little bit off the number right now, and Duke are just overwhelmed offensively. They just don't have the firepower, as we talked about, onto their third string quarterback. And the SEC continues to struggle in this postseason. They have the Texas Longhorns left, and Texas survived a wild football game against Arizona State. Cam Scatteraboo talked about how he thought he was the best back in the country, and he put his money where his mouth was in that football game. He really couldn't have done anything more than he did.
Great call, Gabe. Cam Scatteraboo, too, was throwing up on the sideline, and he was, I think he was concussed early in that game, and that kid just kept on giving more and more and more. And I got to tell you, Arizona State, if not for the turnover on downs a couple times at the one and could arguably a holding call on Texas at the end, let's give the Sun Devils all the credit in the world. Gabe, projected to come last in the Big 12. What a performance, man. They could have won that game outright, and that overtime was nuts. Great game. Best game so far.
And, of course, the big controversy about the non-targeting call as well. All right, we got Brent Beard in the house with us. Brent, good to see you. Happy New Year. We were just talking. We're kind of in shock. It's been kind of just sort of, first off, our condolences. What a tragedy in New Orleans.
Yes.
I didn't even know it happened when it happened, like on New Year's Eve. I was just partying on New Year's Eve, looking forward to the football games.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I saw the news, so the game got pushed back a day. So first things first, pure tragedy. Our condolences to everybody there. And then, it was just kind of a weird game today. Just sort of waiting for Georgia to get going.
Yeah.
They just couldn't. Notre Dame's defense and special teams were the difference maker today, Brent.
Yeah, listen, it's great to be on with both of you two. Happy New Year. Unfortunately, I haven't seen Cam in a long time until tonight, so I'm glad to see you, brother.
Nice to see you, Brett. Yeah.
Gabe, it was. And a lot of Notre Dame exposed a lot of Georgia's faults and what has happened this year. Georgia, again, give them credit. They won the SEC, but one of the things that really caught my eye was Notre Dame, as far as in a game of this magnitude, they won the game with fewer than 300 yards. That's amazing when you think about that. But, guys, you saw it like I did. Same things happening to Georgia the whole year. The offensive line was not what we thought it was going to be. They led the nation. I don't mean the SEC. They led the nation, guys, in drop passes. Dylan Bell had just an embarrassingly bad drop at some point. So, but look, give credit Notre Dame. They won the rushing game 154-62 as our mascot Chino the cat appears.
Here's our boy Chino. What's up, Chino?
He's awesome. That's great.
He hears Cam and he hears Gabe and he says,
"I got something's going on."
Yeah,
he knows something's going on. That's good. Good to see you. Good to see you, Chino. And Georgia over the years, number one too. In past years, I brought it up, when Notre Dame, I told people, Brett, this isn't the same like Brian Kelly type of teams. This team has team speed. This team has NFL players on the team and very, very physical. Sort of, Georgia didn't really have a speed advantage against Notre Dame at all. And in fact, Notre Dame were just blowing things up. Notre Dame seemed more disciplined, better coached, just sort of dialed in, more focused, like eyes on the prize in this game. But it finally caught up to them because Georgia, you see Michigan, it caught up to Michigan this year, Cam and Brett, but you can only lose like so many players so often before finally the next kids aren't going to be like stars again too. And you look at Georgia, they don't have Ladd McConkey, they don't have Brock Bowers. You know what I mean? And nobody stepped up. There was no new, I'm the new McConkey, I'm the new Bowers.
And they're ripping
There's
it
always
up in
this
the
sort of
NFL,
system.
Gabe. Not just good, record setters.
Well, that's the thing. They're stars. Imagine if those two were on the field. They're not. But if ends and butts were candies and nuts. But nobody stepped up. The ground game wasn't very good. The offensive line wasn't very good. The drops. They were, like I just told Cam before. I said, Georgia were a good team this year, Brent. Not a great team. They were a good team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, one thing you said about the rushing game, they could not get that going, could they, guys? ATN was not really good.
Nope.
Fraser Kid's good. Couldn't do it tonight.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
They let the guy run the practice and leave the building, have a press conference, and then you fire him on a cell phone call while he's in the car. Shame on you, Sacramento. You haven't been good since Chris Webber, White Chocolate, Vlade Divac, Corliss Big Nasty Williamson, and obviously Rick Alleman as a coach. No one wonder why you've been a joke for the last quarter century.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. The Vancouver Canucks have just scored seconds ago. They just tied the game with about 5.5 left, 6 minutes left in the first period of play. I was thinking about taking over 1.5 for the first period as well. But I do have over 5.5. We do have Vancouver. Cam's on the Canucks plus 1.5. 1-1 hockey game. As far as the football game is concerned, Mississippi had put another touchdown on the board. 38-7 late in the third quarter of play. Right now. It's a rout at the Gator Bowl, 38-7, totals 55.5 in-game right now. Brett Beard in the house with us. And Brett, the Ohio State Buckeyes have really dialed it up a notch since that Michigan loss. They're just, they're just playing angry, and they're, quite frankly, possessed, really. Like, you could just sort of see. Like every play, every pass, every run, everything is just done quickly with perfection and anger. And then they get back to the sideline and they don't really celebrate that much. They're like, well, let's do it again. I can't help but think so.
When they planted the flag, it was basically Ohio State after that was just had smoke coming out their ears. Like, it was the best thing that ever happened to them. And that's kind of my take. They went nuts. Like, now they're playing to their potential. And you said it, Morency, they don't take plays off. They hurt you. Like, it was almost like a personal insult. Like, you came after my family, my dog, my cat, everybody else. Like, they're angry, and that's bad.
The only consolation I can take as a Michigan fan is they'll still be bothered that they lost to Michigan, even if they win the championship. They look like the team to beat, Brent, and no disrespect to Notre Dame and Penn State, because they're both playing great football right now, but Ohio State look like the team to beat right now, don't they?
Look, here's the reality. Cam mentioned this a minute ago. Jeremiah Smith, the receiver, had just been absolutely on fire. I mean, the last two games, guys, 290 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, 22 yards a catch. That's amazing when you think about that. Now, to your point about them being angry, right now, this year versus top 10 teams, Ryan Day's 4-1. That's incredible when you think about that and the improvement. But look, I'm a line of scrimmage defensive guy, and what Ohio State did in their last game you're talking about 8 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. Guys, I'm telling you, when you control the line of scrimmage, I don't care what level it is, from Toy Bowl to the NFL, you're going to win, aren't you?
No, the battle of the trenches is where you win and lose games. I can't help but think, though, guys, too, and there's going to be a lot of discussion as far as the seeding is concerned and the format of the playoffs. But every team that played a game won. You know what I mean? Like the teams with the buys, it did not help them. And you saw they started off slow, right? One by one. And, it's not an excuse. It is what it is, but they weren't ready to go. Texas were the exception. Texas started off strong and then blew the lead after. But we saw, guys, the fact is, Cam and Brent, all 4 teams that had the bye, they're the ones that all got eliminated.
Well, Gabe, think about this. If you're an underdog, you want to go right back and play like Boise State. Look at you got to plan for Genty. Like it's a disadvantage. Like when you're a team that has everything have to work for you to beat a heavyweight, you want to get back out there after you win your like let's go now. And Gabe, cream rises to the top. We've talked about this, Morency. Eventually the better team with rest will be the better team. So an underdog, I think, having have to wait, that's a recipe for disaster, aka Boise State.
Well, I've always said that, guys. I said that, Brent. And I told it to you, and I've said it on the show a million times about we don't really need an expanded playoff. I know people want it for TV, people wanted it, and then they complain about every team. Oh, they don't belong in this and that. And it's not basketball, right? The NCAA tournament, basketball is different. You're playing a 40-minute basketball game. Everybody shoots 3-point shots nowadays. You could get hot. The other team gets cold. There can be upsets, and the Cinderella story will happen. It doesn't happen in football, guys. It's rare.
No.
And to put in context, guys, in the last 11 years in the college football playoffs, there's been 10 games where a team was double-digit favorites, guys. You know what they are straight up? 10-0. Yeah. One upset. So now it's like, okay, now let's just, so it's the same thing, Cam, but it's like, okay, and the FCS playoffs, which is a nice format. They play at home, and it keeps it simpler until the championship game. But they have all these teams in it. It's always the same teams at the end, Cam. There's no upsets there either, right? They get bounced all the time. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's South Dakota State and North Dakota State again this year.
It is.
Like in football, the Cinderella doesn't happen. You're not going to win 3-4 games in a row and make it, right? People want it for TV, Brett, but we're going to go to 16. I imagine that's what they're going to do. They have a contract for next year for 12. And then they renegotiate it for TV again. So I imagine they go to 16 after, Brett. But we've seen these 2 and 3 lost teams, not good enough. Just is what it is.
Guys, I was at the Ole Miss hotel last night. Ole Miss is obviously playing here in Duke, and talked to a guy who is in touch with a lot of decision makers. He told me a couple of interesting things. He said, as far as the things that you're talking about, he said, yes, we're probably going to 16. And even though the public wants the games to be at home or on home stadiums, that it's probably going to maybe go away in 26 and add more bowls, which would be bowls like Jacksonville would probably get in there. And look, a point you guys made was really important, that there's too much of a gap between the end of the season and when these teams play. I mean, for Georgia was almost a month, and I do a podcast on Thursday mornings with Shane Matthews, the former Gator quarterback, and he played with the Bears and some other NFL teams too. He made the point Cam made a few minutes ago. These teams don't want a month off. They're ready to play, and the thing they probably need to do, guys, as they relook at this for 2026, is to close the gap, not widen it, right?
Yeah, start December the week after the conference championship games, like the NFL. The NFL doesn't take a week off before the wild card round.
Yes. I don't know how you guys feel either, but Oregon, I know it's on the West Coast in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, but they're an undefeated football team without a home game. That's why I like the FBS, Gabe. You earn the right in the regular season, and now you're going in a neutral site game. An Ohio State fan travels. I know it's on the West Coast, but what's
Sure.
the point? Like, we talk about that in the NHL and all the weird stuff. Like, who cares about the division? Like, you know what I mean? Records.
You know why,
Records.
though? You know why they did the home field stuff? It wasn't because of anything nostalgic or anything, oh, it's going to be cool to have on campuses. They were worried about selling tickets to all these games.
You're right. That's exactly
Point
why
blank.
they did it.
Right? They were worried. Like,
Yes.
you can't ask
Yes.
people to go to Florida and then go to Texas for, like,
Yeah.
you can't go to a bowl game
Right.
every week, Cam.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
even me last year, I chose. Oh, I want to go to the Rose Bowl or the championship game. I was like, I want to see the Rose Bowl.
You picked
Right?
the right
And
one.
I watched the championship game at home after.
Yeah, you picked the right one, the big one. That's true.
Yeah. It feels like that was so. It feels like it was just the other day, but also so long ago. So these are the updated odds right now to win the championship, and the odds makers have solidly made Ohio State the favorites. Plus 110, the Buckeyes to win the championship. Notre Dame plus 360, Texas plus 375, Penn State plus 450. But one way or the other, guys, Notre Dame or Penn State are going to be in a national championship football game.
Yeah, that's right. And look, who would have thought that was going to happen? A lot of people didn't think my Marcus Freeman.
After they lost to NIU, they lost to
yeah.
Northern Illinois.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
everybody always says Franklin can't win a big game, and now he could end up in a championship game.
That's right.
Their defense is so opportunistic. You see what they did to SMU in those turnovers? They made Jennings look like a high school quarterback. That's the thing about Penn State. They got
The
beat
war is
players.
unstoppable, too.
Yeah,
that guy's
they
amazing.
had like great call. It'd be a great game.
All right, more with Brett Beard on the other side. We'll see if Brett thinks if Texas can slow OSU down.
There's a lot of bowl games. I love all of them. Even if you don't like bowl games, you got to love the Pop-Tarts Bowl and what it means for college football.
Who doesn't get excited for Pop-Tarts? But also, this is one of those where, Ben, I guess you could put your kids through college. Miami doesn't care about bowl games. They don't ever win those. Miami's a favorite, so they usually go take the Iowa State Cyclones. Miami doesn't play any defense whatsoever, so you automatically just bang the total.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid.
50 points in a fourth quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. Like, what is going on? It's like circus numbers. What are we doing?
And we sound like two old heads complaining. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch sometimes. I don't mind the shooting. I just know the numbers. Like, when you strictly look at it from the numbers in betting, it's getting really hard to bet.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Thursday Night Throwdown continues. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159. Brent Beard, Chino, and Cam Stewart in the house with us right now. The Steamroller will join us a little bit later on. Ole Miss up 38-7 right now. They are on the Duke inside the 30-yard line. Still 13 minutes left. We could use a couple of more touchdowns in this game to get the over. I got an over 54.5 or 53.5 in game. So I need 2 touchdowns here. It's an all-out route right now, 1-0. Was 1-0 early for the Kraken. The Canucks tied the game at 1. Oh, the Kraken are going on the power play right now. The Sabres still lead the Avs 3-1 after 2 periods of play. The Flames have come back on Utah. It's 3-2 after 40 minutes there. The Flyers lead the Vegas Golden Knights as big dogs tonight, 1-0 in the desert after a period. 1-1 late in the first, as we just alluded to, with Vancouver and Seattle, and the Tampa Bay Lightning and the San Jose Sharks still scoreless. NBA basketball, Warriors beating the Sixers 52-36. And the Lakers and Blazers just getting started, 8-5 right now. Lakers minus 8.5 in game. Total 227.5. Brent Beard in the house with us. Cam Stewart as well. The Steamroller will join us. Big Card Julio a little bit later on. But, Brent, talking about how good Ohio State looked. You know, I guess, listen, style points don't matter. It's all about surviving and advancing. So whether you win by 30, whether you win by 7, or whether you win by 3, you know, you live to play another game. But the odds makers have made Ohio State a 6-point favorite in this football game. And the way Ohio State are playing right now, that might be light, to be honest. Can Texas slow these guys down? And the game will be in Arlington, Texas, at least for them.
Well, that will certainly help them. And here's one thing about Texas on this year. Only 2 teams, Arizona State and Clemson, have gained over 350 yards on Texas. So, I mean, their defense is going well. I mean, they lost the Sweat kid on the defensive line, and they kind of rebuilt that defensive line. They lost Bo Davis, their D-line coach to LSU, who is one of the best. And I want to go back and to something Cam said a few minutes ago, and this kind of backs this up. Guys, this is hard to believe in the Texas-Arizona State game. Arizona State had the ball 85 plays. Texas had it 55 plays. And Texas still was able to win the game. And frankly, look, congrats to Texas for being able to win with Ewers, made great plays in overtime. But you can't escape the fact they collapsed in the fourth quarter. Texas did, and Arizona State really, to Cam's point, should have won the game.
They should have. I just don't understand, Gabe and Brent. You have those packages for Manning all year.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Ewers, Gabe Ewers was obviously hurt. Like on that bootleg play that he went in, like he dove in, but you could tell like he's still nursing an injury. And I'm like, where's Arch Manning? Like, did you find that weird, guys? Like, I just like, that's where he is there. Like, I don't know what Sarkisian and his staff were doing. Maybe they didn't want to show something, but it was very dangerous. A very dangerous game they played. They're very lucky.
Well, the thing I heard last night was that Ewers is hurt worse than we think he is. And give him credit for being as tough as he is and being able to play. I mean, he said before the game that this is the best he's felt all year. But look, it's probably going to take the offseason before he can really get where he needs to be. If you're looking for a stat for Texas, if they can run the ball, they can win. The Wisner kid and Jaden Blue are really good. C.J. Baxter, their best running back, got hurt at the beginning of the year, never played it down. But frankly, so if they win by defense or Texas or by running the game, but look, I think Gabe's right. Right now, I really don't know if anybody can beat Ohio State with the momentum they've got.
You know what's amazing, though? Out of the 4 teams that were in the playoffs last year, the Texas Longhorns are the only ones. The Washington Huskies, Michigan Wolverines, Alabama Crimson Tide all fall by the wayside this year. And I got to ask you, Brent, Alabama had their full team for the most part. They were 18-point favorites against the Michigan Wolverines, who were literally starting like players that had never started before. But it's not like they have scrubs, right? They were playing kids like Morgan's going to be the real deal, their future running back. It was a positive experience for the Michigan Wolverines, but what's the word with the Bama camp? It's kind of, listen, if they would have won, then no one was throwing any parades. But since they lost, not exactly a great starting season for DeBoer when it was all said and done, when you look back on it.
Yeah, I mean, they were 9-4, but no one's having a parade in Tuscaloosa for 9-4. Now, he won in Nick Saban's first year. He was 7-5, but DeBoer, they had a chance to beat Vanderbilt, Tennessee, had a chance to obviously beat Michigan. Look, I give Michigan a lot of credit. Michigan played the perfect game. They played Alabama in a phone booth. Is what they did. That they collapsed the Alabama offensive line. And guys, people may not have heard this yet, but Jalen Milroe is going to the NFL. And I can tell you, there are a lot of Alabama fans are glad he's gone. I mean, he beat Georgia twice, won SEC championships, beat Auburn twice, LSU twice. Give him credit, but Gabe called attention to this months ago. He is not a complete quarterback. He doesn't see the field. He cannot complete throws that are he can throw the ball 70 yards easier than he can throw on 4th and 7.
Good call. You know what was crazy, Brett? And I brought it up during the game. I was like, wow, we're doing the exact same thing to him that we did in the Rose Bowl last year, and he still doesn't get it. You know what I mean? Like, we ran the same defense, kind of a zone, like they'll do to him in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're like, no, dude, you're not just going to throw it over our heads because that's the only thing you can do. You make him throw it underneath and read the defenses, and he can't do it. Just point blank. Against an elite defense, I should say. Against, some of the teams, he's going to run around and do his thing. I was surprised, Brent, and I know you're right. As crazy as it sounds, they want to throw Quinn Ewers under the bus in Texas and get Archie Manning. They're like, oh, we don't really even want you to come back next year, even though the kid's like playing, all beat up right now. But I know, Brent, a lot of people like, all right, we need to move forward. But I don't know. I don't really get it personally, guys. If I was advising Milroe, and I'm not, obviously, I would have said, listen, if you don't want to play at Alabama next year, I would transfer and go put up big numbers somewhere else next year. You're not ready for the NFL.
I agree.
There's a lot of bowl games. I love all of them. Even if you don't like bowl games, you got to love the Pop-Tarts Bowl and what it means for college football.
Who doesn't get excited for Pop-Tarts? But also, this is one of those where, Ben, I guess you could put your kids through college. Miami doesn't care about bowl games. They don't ever win those. Miami's a favorite, so you usually go take the Iowa State Cyclones. Miami doesn't play any defense whatsoever, so you automatically just bang the total.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
50 points in a fourth quarter for the Atlanta Hawks. Like, what is going on? It's like circus numbers. What are we doing?
And we sound like two old heads complaining. It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch sometimes. I don't mind the shooting. I just know the numbers. Like, when you strictly look at it from the numbers in betting, it's getting really hard to bet.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today. Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Happy New Year to all. Thanks for joining us. It's our first show of the new year, actually. Brent Beard with us just for a couple of more moments. And just quickly on the way out here, we were talking about Jalen Milroe and declaring for the draft. And a lot of people, listen, Kalen DeBoer inherited him in the same way Jed Fish inherited, didn't have his guys that he really wanted in his first year. So you got to give the benefit of the doubt to some of these coaches. But Yeah, I think Milroe, I don't know, Brent. Maybe the thought process is there's so much talk about how thin the quarterback class is in the National Football League draft, right? You've got Sanders and Ward, and/or Ward and Sanders, and then there's a massive drop-off after, right? Quinn Ewers hasn't made anything official, but there was talk that he was leaning towards not going to the NFL. Now Beck actually is. So I don't know. Maybe Milroe thinks, even if I'm not great, I'm still one of the top 5 quarterbacks taken or so. And listen, he can impress people at the combine and stuff. But if he does, I don't think going back to Bama would have been good because I think Bama fans are going to turn on him. I think DeBoer probably wanted his own guy anyways moving forward. But do you agree, Brett? If I was him, I probably would have transferred somewhere. Make some money, right? You got a couple of $1 million, transfer somewhere, put some numbers. Like, find a program. They're going to let you be you. And, you know what I mean, where you could, just do your thing and put numbers up, but hey, it's a thin quarterback class. But I would have went back to college and just transferred if I was him.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And he'd have made a lot of money, too, because there are a lot of schools, I think, would have taken a chance on him. To your point, what he'll do is he'll go to the combines, and the old saying is he'll run fast and he'll jump high. And
he'll throw it far.
Yeah, and let me tell you what he does best, guys. The best thing he does is he interviews with people, and he'll smile his way through it. He's a charming kid. He's a good kid. He's a solid kid, but someone like Anthony Richardson, okay, someone will fall in love with not his consistency, but the possibility of him being able to do what Richardson does, which is run 90 yards and outrun the secondary on any given play.
It's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds with J.J. McCarthy as well and the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think they'll trade him. But, Sam Darnold's had such a good year, right? I don't know. I think the Vikings are probably going to want to see how Sam does in the playoffs. But Darnold's had such a good year. Adam Schefter had a report that teams are they're interested in McCarthy because NFL teams think McCarthy would be the number 1 quarterback taken in the NFL draft if he was in the draft this year. Yeah. If you're an NFL team, they would rather get McCarthy than Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. He didn't play a single down this year in the National Football League. He looked good in the preseason, and he looked good in practice, so much so that he was close to becoming a starter. I don't think they'll do that, though. I think they'll play a long term. It sucks for JJ, but I think they'll probably try to just, give Sam a shorter term deal and play it from that. But that's just something that's out there right now. Brent Beard with us. And Brent, before we get you out of here, Cam brought it up. The South Carolina game was very emotional with Illinois, with the coaches and the players. And hey, you can't say, though, that players, they don't care about bowl games. The emotions were running high. But when it's all said and done, the SEC, not the most memorable bowl season for the SEC this week.
Yeah, they're going to end up with a winning record. But to your point, I agree. And Texas is carrying the banner in the first year.
A new SEC team, not really an SEC team.
Exactly. And listen, one thing you guys said, I agree with wholeheartedly. Why in the world did they not have a package for Arch Manning in that game? I have no explanation for that at all. And listen, if Arch Manning, and I'm glad he's not because I love college football, but if Arch Manning could come out right now, would he be one of the better quarterbacks in the draft?
Yeah, he might get drafted, right?
That's a good point. Hey, Gabe, that Williams Jr. kid from Washington you're talking about, man, that guy is lightning fast. You see
he's
that
good. I told you guys, he's good.
Woo! Man, he was fun to watch. What a great game. The Sun Bowl? Oh, Louisville, Washington? Amazing game. That was one of the best.
He's he's very similar to Kyler Murray. He looks like Kyler Murray, like a new version of 2.0. He's Kyler Murray 2.0, this kid.
Yeah. He might be a little faster in a running race.
He is faster. Yeah, he is faster than Kyler. No, but he's fast. He's like Lamar Jackson fast, this kid.
Oh, big time. Yep.
He's fast. Washington, they're going to be good next year. Fish is building it. I don't like some of the decisions he made. Hey, happy New Year, Brent.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
I am Gabriel Morency, level 2. This is Sports Rage. A new year has begun. We're throwing it down on the Thursday night throwdown. 45-7 for Ole Miss right now. Duke have the ball at midfield. It's 4th down coming up, 45-7. There's like 6 minutes left. I need another touchdown. Actually, I need a field goal, but no one's going to be kicking any field goals here. So I'm probably going to be a day late, dollar short on this one. NHL hockey, 3-2 right now. The Avalanche just scored, so we got a 3-2 hockey game. Buffalo have been known to blow leads before. And in fact, I don't think plus 165 is a crazy bet on the Avalanche right now, Cam.
Yeah, I'm on the Sabres originally because you know me, I got a real problem with the Buffalo Sabres betting bad teams game. But I had a good feeling tonight with Blackwood going for Colorado. But yeah, that price, I'm seeing plus 170 on my book with Colorado too. I'd probably take a dip in those waters, and maybe we can, because I got Buffalo plus that, like that's the price at the start of the game. You can bet it and guarantee you have a winner. Utah just tied it up. I like them live minus 120 against the Calgary Flames, Gabe, and we're already on Vancouver plus 1.5 in money line. Hopefully they can get the next goal. Vegas just tied it up too.
Yeah, everything's close in the NHL right now. 1-1 in Vegas. They just scored. The Sharks are up 1-0 late in the first period of play over Tampa right now. 1-1 Vancouver and Seattle at the break. We'll bring the steamroller in a second. Just a quick check. 68-52 for the Warriors at the half against the Sixers. They're laying 11.5 in-game right now. They've been up big all night. 228.5 is the total. Blazers up on the Lakers right now. Lakers were laying 8.5 earlier in the game. Now it's 2.5. College basketball, big game tonight with Illinois and the Ducks. And I liked Illinois plus the points, but I was like, man, if I take them plus 4.5, they're going to lose by 5. And they're actually winning the game outright right now. They're laying 3.5 now. It's 45-38 at the break. It's pretty high scoring.
Washington, Maryland,
167.5.
Take a look at this game, 49-49 right now. Maryland and the Huskies right now. Maryland laying 3.5, 134.5. Any opinions?
That one I would lean with the Terps just out of the monetary value, but it just moved to 230. But I've got my own issues going on right now. I took Oregon State, and it doesn't look like it was a good play.
I got
Loyola
my own
Marymount. Yeah. Loyola Marymount are beating the Beavers right now, 47-36. And I'm on Long Beach plus 4 and over 137.5 They're down by 6 at the half. UC Riverside are up 38-32. In-game total is 144.5, so we're on pace. I thought the total was a little light in that game. Let's bring in Scott Steen, the Steamroller, in the house. How you doing, Scott? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to be here. Happy New Year, boys. Good to be on the show.
Any Happy New Year? Any late night college basketball desperation plays for you here going on, Scott?
Desperation plays. I love it.
Unless you guys talk about Riverside and no, I'm staying away from that tonight. I've been too busy watching my under go down in flames here with the Mississippi Duke game.
Gabe, is Northridge up 36 on Fullerton? Was it 62-28? What was it? They're up 34.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. That's a
Fullerton's awful. Fullerton.
Yeah, Fullerton plus 27.5 might be worth a look. Getting a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. Go Titans.
It's a lot of points. Yeah, Loyola Marymount up 47-39 on Oregon State. This is another pretty high-scoring game right now. Pretty big, quick tempo. Loyola Marymount keep on hitting everything. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this pace up, but they do have a 10-point lead right now. I think the in-game over 148.5 could be worth a look in this game. Scott, I made the mistake. I knew it was a tough game going into the game, right? And I do respect Notre Dame. I was on them against Indiana. I thought Georgia would play better than they did. You know, the penalties, just sort of the mistakes. I don't really blame the quarterback. Yeah, they had a backup quarterback. Would things have been different with Carson Beck? I don't really think so. He probably would have thrown interceptions. Like, Notre Dame were the better football team. Let's just call it out for what it is. And I don't want to say I got sucked into the SEC stuff, but, you know, you sort of, you keep on waiting for these teams to get better and flick the switch. And, all right, Kirby Smart's 6-2 in the playoffs, but they're not that good of a team. They're a good team, but not a great team. The Georgia Bulldogs and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they were the better football team today. They deserve to win, although much like hockey, Cam, the game swung at the end of that first half. It's 6-3. It could have went to the half at 6-3. Instead of just handing the ball off, they try to throw the ball. You get the sack, turns into the field goal, turns into a touchdown. It's like, all right, hold to a field goal. It's not the end of the world. Turns into a touchdown. Next thing you know, it's 13-3. And then they return the kickoff for a touchdown. Scott, they scored 17 points in 25 seconds, basically. And that was the game. It's like a hockey game when a team scores with a minute left in a period and then scores like right into the next period. It just changes everything.
100%. Yeah, that game was over. I thought they were in a lot of trouble when they were down 13-3 at the half, and then to see that kickoff come back right after the break, you knew it was over at that point, man. It was, and I think Stockton did fine. I just don't think he has the ability to bring that team back like Carson Beck might have. I think if you'd have given him a lead, taken a little pressure off, let him run the ball a little bit, it's hard to blame the quarterback when ATN goes 11 carries, 38 yards, man. If you have
the offensive line just wasn't very good.
Right. If you have no reason to respect the run, they're going to tee off on that kid all day long.
It's not his fault either. Like, he's working on these, like, the Notre Dame's bringing blitz packages, and he's trying to talk to his offensive linemen and stuff like that. They did him no favors in that game, Gabe. Like, they kind of hung him out to dry. I thought he played pretty decently. Like, what do you expect from the kid? Notre Dame's got a good team.
I'd like to ask, I'm going to ask an odds maker. I got to speak to a sportsbook director about this, is why is it that sacks count as negative yards on a college quarterback's rushing yard prop, but it doesn't in the NFL? It's always bothered me. I don't get burnt by it often, but I got burnt by it today because you talked about Gunnar Stockton rushing the football, and I did bet that prop over 27.5. And man, he had like 30. He was in the 30s in the first quarter, essentially. I was like, all right, there's at least one good bet I made today. He ends up, Cam, with minus 16 rushing yards because he got sacked so much.
You know what, Grabe? You bring that up, and that's very good for like the people to realize that. You're betting NFL and you bet college, you're going to lose those bets like that. You got to know that's the situation. Like Notre Dame was teeing off them. They were just like small sacks too. -6, -7. Like he's moving back there. He's getting smoked. Like you saw their blitzes. He got killed. I thought he broke his arm on that play in the second quarter when Notre Dame went in for a touchdown. Like that, they're just well coached. They executed, Gabe. Georgia, and for a good offensive line, they had no answers. I got to tell you, kudos to Franklin and that staff. They were prepared, Al Golden and crew. Like, I hate to say it, Kirby Smart. You guys got outcoached by Notre Dame today too. Not just the athletes. The
Oh, they
coaches
did.
dominated big time.
And Kirby was crying after the game, Scott, about the substitutions. Oh, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. And I was just like, dude, like you lost. Like, I mean, you lost the game. Right? Like,
enough, Kirby. Enough. Yeah. Yes. Duke
Somebody in
scored,
the
Gabe.
SEC
Hey,
crying about something.
59. 59 points, Gabe. There you go, buddy.
Oh.
There's your over.
Yeah.
Hey.
It gets there.
Good old
there.
Duke.
Duke. Good for not quitting, Duke. Put that extra touchdown on the board there.
Exactly, Duke. The Cameron crazy.
I don't know how far. I don't know how far the bench is. I don't know how far down the bench those guys that are playing defense for Ole Miss are right now. But I think they had to wake a couple guys off the bus. Like, yeah, you're in. Go.
Good for the amazing. Good for the total.
We'll take it. I bet in game 54.5. I'm on Duke plus the 18. That's not. Now they scored. I'm looking. Can we get one more and get a cover? But no, that wouldn't be enough even, would it?
No, that's
they would lose
buddy.
45-21. Yeah, it's done. At least we hit the in-game over. We'll take it. At least we hit the in-game over there. So I went. There was 5 when it was all said and done. I ended up going pretty much splitting everything until today. Like I laid the points with Texas, but I had Texas and Arizona State over the number. I had the Oregon Ducks to beat Ohio State, but I also took the over in the football game. So it was like split. And then today I was on the Georgia Bulldogs. How'd you do, Scott, with the playoff games?
Well, I did the same thing with Penn State. I was minus 11.5, and I had the over in that game as well. So that didn't get home. I split today.
Yeah, Boise was frustrating.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final 5, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final 5 last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the Pittsburgh Players, the Hustlers, the people, the bustler, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. Scott Steen, the Steamroller, in the house with us. Cam Stewart, as well on SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. Scott, of course, is a Kansas City Chief fan. And the NFL guys this week is very similar to a lot of these college football bowl games with backups and unique situations, who's trying, who's not trying. And I've never been a fan of the last week of the NFL. It's just, we'll try to find a spot or two. Look at this, guys. The Ravens are up to 20 right now. It's up to 20. They don't need to win the game by 20. I'm taking the Browns and hoping for the best. I'm telling you right now. I don't care who's playing.
I hope DTR's got one throw in him, Gabe, to Judy in the because watching that offense will make you puke.
That's insane.
That's crazy. It's nuts.
What do you think, Scott? That's just stupid. 20 points.
I got a first half play on that. I've got Ravens minus 10.5. Man, this is I'll tell you what. This Browns team, man, they can't score, and they really can't score in the first half. They've scored 10 points total in the first half over their last 4 games. So, and it's not going to be DTR this time, right? It's going to be Bailey Zappi.
Yeah,
Zappy.
Dear
right.
God.
Yeah. No, I'd rather have Zappy than DTR. I hate to say it. DTR was and Winston made mistakes, but DTR can't do anything. I feel sorry for the kid. He's a deer in the headlights out there. Winston moved the ball, then he threw picks. DTR just doesn't do any moving of the ball. And Stefanski
DTR
crew. Yeah. Hey, what's it stand for, Steiner? What's it stand for?
Down to rob me. DTR, down to rob.
Down to rob me. Yeah. Bet on the Browns? You're broke.
This might be the better game to pass on as well if you don't want to. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them. They got the Bengals and the Steelers on Saturday night. This one's interesting in the sense that the Bengals have played themselves back in it. They need a couple of things to happen, but at least they're playing before everybody else. So they're the Bengals are going to try to end with a win here. The Steelers have really struggled down the stretch. Scott, any opinion on the Bengals being 2-point favorites?
Yeah, I'm all over the Bengals there. I got them at 1.5, and this is a Pittsburgh Steelers team that all of a sudden they've started playing good offenses, and they have not responded well. They've given up 30 points a game to the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs, and now they get arguably the best offense of any of those 4, at least the way they're playing right now with Burrow and Chase and that whole gang. They put up 32.3 points per game over their last 8. They've won 4 straight. I think Bengals roll them up again. I think the Steelers have hit the wall, man.
What do you think, Cam, of the Saturday night game?
I respect the Steiner. I got the line at 3, and with Pickens back, I think it changes everything. I think Tomlin and his crew can't go into the playoffs with this situation, how bad they're playing down the stretch. And the one issue still with the Bengals, despite Hendrickson and other guys that like their secondaries awful, and that changes the way the Steelers can attack them. I like the Steelers by a field goal in this game, Gabe. I got them +3, but I really think to Steiner's point, winning margin betting 1-6 either side, this game's going to be razor thin and tight.
Oh, we've got a goal in Seattle, the Vancouver Canucks. Connor Garland, 2-1 Canucks. Good stuff.
Words.
2-1 Vancouver, 12 minutes left in the second period of play. The Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, they've announced that basically they said most of the starters aren't playing. And Josh Allen has a consecutive game streak going that he's really, really seemingly obsessed with. And, okay, fine. But they better just start him and hand the football off a couple of times and get him off the football field. And it kind of takes away from the streak, but whatever, it is what it is. The Bills are 2.5-point favorites. I think the Bills' backups could actually beat the Patriots. This is one where it's 2.5. You have Mitch Trubisky coming in. The Bills' backups are pretty good. We saw that last week. The Bills took the pedal off the metal against the Jets, and the entire fourth quarter, it was literally guys. There was one dude, Shavers, he didn't catch a ball all year. It was his first catch in the NFL. It was for a touchdown. Everything was just sort of clicking for them. What do you think, or is it a pass, Scott, on the Buffalo Bills and the Patriots?
Yeah, I'm totally passing, man. I've got no interest in any game where one team doesn't give a damn. I really don't. I think you could have a good hunch there. I don't hate it. If I was going to gun to my head and play that game, I'd play the Bills to cover. I don't think they want to go in cold, having a loss there before the playoffs start next week. So, yeah, and I'm with you. I think Josh Allen maybe gets a series, maybe first preseason game, give him one series with the offense, and then he's done. He gets his streak, and everybody's happy. So, the other one that I'm looking at is the Sunday night game with the Vikings and the Lions. I just don't trust this Lions defense right now, as banged up as they are. They just about did it to them last week against the Niners. They were down by 8 at halftime. They ended up giving up 31 points to that seriously weakened Niners offense there. I think the Vikings are going to have a field day. I hate that total. It's so damn high. I think I'll probably avoid it, but it's a situation where, you could easily see 60, 65 points in this game.
Maybe Vikings team total, guys, because Detroit, like, other than Purdy gagging on a couple throws and their kicker, Moody, missing a few, the 49ers did anything they wanted to do, Gabe. Remember, we were on the air for that game. It was a joke. They could have won that game. That's what I'm saying. Like, Ray Steiner, don't you think, when you look at that game, I'm like, if you're Minnesota, are you licking your chops? You got Addison, you got Jefferson,
100%.
you got Jones, and Sam Darnold. That's the thing. Like, and then you have like mismatches. Hell, Naylor's a pretty good third or fourth receiver. Like, Minnesota's offense is damn good. And no offense, Detroit, but Minnesota's defense crushes your defense. Like, it's not even close, Steiner. Not even close.
Yeah, and it's really sad. This was a really good Lions defensive unit when they opened the season, and they have just been absolutely devastated, especially at the linebacker position. And you're right. The Niners were able to do anything they wanted to last week, especially they were able to get to the second level. And remember, they did all of that without Trent Williams. Not only that, they were missing Trent Williams' backup as well at the left tackle spot, and they were still able to manhandle that Detroit front. So I think the Vikings are watching that game film just like you said, man. I think they're licking their chops and they're ready to go.
Big time. Yeah, I think that total, though, Steiner, you're right. It's bet up to 56.5. We have to have a little bit of caution there. And everybody and their mother is going to be on the over in that football game. We'll get Gabe back. And I want to talk to you about Denver and Kansas City as well. You don't see the Chiefs get 10.5 points very much. I think I might be buying in.
Get them up.
Huh.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Scott Steen in the house. The Rage Cam Stewart. We've got our eyes on college basketball, NBA, NHL hockey, talking NFL football right now with the Steamroller, Scott Steen, in the house with us. And it's a really tricky card. We were talking about the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, but you being the Kansas City Chief guy, what's the deal with the Chiefs in this game against the Denver Broncos, getting 10.5 points? another instance where, Denver need to win a football game. They don't need to win by 11. What do you think about this, Scott? What are you hearing as far as the Chief players and what they're going to do is concerned?
23 days off, baby. That's what I'm hearing. That's what the starters are going to get before they have to play in the second round of the playoffs. 23 days off.
That's wild.
That's not good.
Yeah. See, I wondered this. I wondered the same thing, Cam. When they said nobody's going to play in this game, I kind of wondered about having 3 weeks off. I know the guys that need to get healthy, that's great. But, man, you could definitely lose your edge. I see both sides of it. You obviously don't want to throw the guys out there, especially with Mahomes still has a little bit of a gimpy ankle. Kelsey's 48 years old, so, he needs to rest his old bones. But I'd rather see a few more starters get a few more reps than what Andy's planning here. So you're not, like you said, man, you're not going to see the Chiefs catching 10.5 very often. And I want no part of it.
Never.
Once again, I think differently. I don't mind sort of these leaps of faith. If I lose, I lose. But taking 20s and 10.5s and all these big numbers, Cam.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right? They're just these teams, they need, because people get caught up, they need to win. They don't need to win by 50. There's no one voting. There's no college poll on this. They just need to win the game.
And another thing, Morency, we've talked about this, and we play sports before.
And those teams don't want to get hurt either if they get a lead, Cam.
Yes.
Don't forget about that.
Great point, because they're going to be in the playoffs too. But the thing about Kansas City, I understand with some of their guys, and they do have some aging superstars on their team. But rest versus rust, that's too much time off, Gabe. We talked about it with the bowl games and stuff like that, man. You come out ice cold, and an NFL playoff game, it's no Stanley Cup best of 7. It's one game. And if you get down early, that could be a real problem. And the Chiefs' edge at Arrowhead, they punch teams in the face. They play good defense. They get good field position. It's very scary because you need to have your edge. And some of these teams here, I think it's a very dangerous game you're playing, but Reed knows better than me, Steamroller. I'm just a talk show guy with Gabe, but he's one of the best coaches in the league. But I think it's crazy. 23 is too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, if he loses that game, I guarantee you that is all we're going to hear in Kansas City for the next 5 months about how stupid that was to give everybody 3 weeks plus off. There's no question about it. And it's really a no-win for Andy in that situation. You give everybody time off, you come out, they get rusty. If you play them, somebody's going to get banged up, somebody's going to get hurt. So it's a no-win situation. I think he's doing the smart thing on paper, but in reality, I worry about it just like you guys do about having 3 weeks off and not having enough time to knock the rust off. Like you said, Chiefs are used to going down. They're okay with playing from behind there, especially in the first half. They go down 7-0, 10-0. But the teams that they're talking about playing, you start doing that in playoff games, and you are playing with fire. You are absolutely playing with fire. You're not playing against the Saints. You're not playing against the Raiders. You're playing against real teams that want to do nothing more than punch you in the mouth in the first half and keep their foot on your throat for the rest of the game. So good luck, boys.
Yeah, and you're playing teams that are hot, coming off a win the previous week in a playoff game, and they're starting to click. One game that there's a few of them that matter, the Minnesota, Detroit, obviously, but Miami and the Jets matters as well because the Denver Broncos are playing the Chiefs at the same time. That's all Miami needs, right? Miami needs Denver to somehow not win this football game, and they beat the Jets, and they make the playoffs. And I'm glad to see at least the game is at the same time. So, they'll actually try. We know the scenario. Aaron Rodgers kind of talking, Scott, like it's his last game there. Any thoughts on the Dolphins and the Jets?
Well, my worry is the fact that the Dolphins aren't going to be playing Tua. So now we're going to be seeing Tyler Huntley out there. That's why that spread is 1.5 instead of
It goes to show how bad the Jets are. Even a backup quarterback is favored on the road finally against them.
It's true.
Took a while,
the weird thing is this Jets team, man, really looks like they've been overvalued for about the last month and a half when it comes to their spreads. I don't understand, and they've played a couple good games in this stretch, but well, that's true. They were really overvalued before everybody figured out that they were going to suck again this year. But even lately, after the Jets have just absolutely gone in the tank, you're still seeing numbers that just don't make any sense. I'm still all over Miami, and they've still got a lot of weapons, even with Tyler Huntley. And Tyler Huntley, as far as backup goes, I think he's better than average. I think they'll be fine. I like them to cover the number there.
Where can people find you online, Scott?
You can find me on Twitter at Steamroller. I've got my own YouTube channel with Steamroller Picks, and check out our brand new website, hitthepick.com.
Awesome stuff, Scott. Thanks for the time. Happy New Year.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like, they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashed in.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM, Channel 159. Happy New Year. It was a Happy New Year if you laid it down on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish earlier in the day today as they rolled the Georgia Bulldogs. The Final Four is set. Ohio State are now overwhelming favorites to win the national championship as the updated odds right now are Ohio State plus 110, Notre Dame plus 360, Texas plus 375, and Penn State plus 450. Notre Dame are 1.5-point favorites over Penn State. So you could argue, value with Penn State at plus 450 if they won the game, but Ohio State would be pretty big favorites against Penn State in the championship game. They always beat them. If you're Penn State or Notre Dame, you got to really hope that Texas knock them off. Like, I wouldn't want to have to play Ohio State in the championship game.
Exactly, Gabe. Exactly.
And Texas are playing in Texas, so at least I don't really think that matters, though. To be honest, like that's not gonna help them win the game, right? So, but at least it minimalizes a road trip for Texas and the preparation, etc. They will have more fans, but the Ducks had more fans than the Buckeyes yesterday. Who cares? More fans don't win you football games. So I don't really make much of the fact that it's in Texas. They don't have, they're going to be in tough. But every game, one thing with Texas, every game is different. They find ways to win Texas. You got to give them credit. They said people are kind of down on them because, what happened. But they were in the playoffs last year, and they're still standing right now. So they are a good football team. They know how to win games.
You could also say this, Gabe. I think a lot of the things Sarkisian did, he didn't show. Because they were a huge favorite against Arizona State, almost 2 touchdowns, 13 and a half.
He's going to have to start to dip into the playbook a little bit more this time. Yeah.
Yes, against Ohio State, you better come up with every trick, like you say, like Carrot Top and his treasure chest, man. Like
you can't let Ohio State get a lead on you. I'm telling you, they're like that's what rattles them with Michigan. We always get a lead on them, and it freaks them out. They're not Ohio State like smoke everybody all the time, guys. They're not used to playing in close games, just point blank. And they just punched like the Ducks in the face, and they're like, no, we're not going to play in a close game. They're kind of like Buffalo, my Buffalo Bills in that sense. Like if we find ourselves in a playoff game, bro, where it's like tied with 3 minutes left or something, we're going to lose. right? Like we're going to find a way to lose. McDermott will do something, like something will happen. You know, Bass will miss it, whatever. Something bad will happen to the Bills in a close game late in the playoffs. For the Bills to win the Super Bowl this year, they need to blow teams out. Like just, like Ohio State are doing. They need to show up, roll you early, break your will, and then just cruise for the rest of the game, right? And Ohio State are sort of the same team. If they get up on you, you're done. Like, you're super done. Like, they'll start mixing in the run and the pass on you. Like, but if you get Ohio State under a little bit of pressure early in the football game, and Texas are good starters, so the first quarter, the first half of that football game is going to be paramount and key for the Texas long. Yeah, they are good. They're like one of the best first half teams in college football in Texas.
Remember this too. You bring up excellent points, and let's go back and think about the season. There was a game against Nebraska. Nebraska was hanging, and Ohio State got pretty lucky in that game. And Nebraska, they're not even in their league, but they got tense, and all of a sudden Nebraska's there. They're going for it. They're feeling loose. Rayola's doing his thing, and that's the thing. Ohio State very lucky to win that game. And then you also talk about other games, too, against Michigan. They couldn't come back. That's the whole key. And everybody, let's call it out for what it is, Morency. People remember what they saw last. They remember Ohio State having a 34-0 lead on an undefeated Oregon Duck team, right? So you could look at it and go, hey, everybody's going to be on these guys. I expect a better effort from Texas. And maybe the game's going to be closer than people anticipate. But Ohio State's on fire.
Getting 6 right now. That's we'll see. We have time for this for the numbers to move, and so it's Thursday night, next Thursday, January the 9th, 7:30 Eastern time. Notre Dame and Penn State, and then they play Friday as well. Ohio State and Texas, and then after that they play the championship game on the Monday the 20th. So then we have to wait again. We have to wait again. We got a couple of more bowl games coming up here still. We got the championship game on Monday. We'll be on Monday for that championship game, actually, while it's going on. The FCS championship game, South Dakota State and North Dakota State. Should be a great one. Tomorrow we got a couple of bowl games. Texas State lay 13.5 to North Texas. Total 62.5. Kind of thinking about the over in this football game. And I wonder if North Texas State should be that big of favorites. And tomorrow night, we'll be on for like the fourth quarter of this one. We start at 10 o'clock Eastern, so it'll still be going on. Minnesota are 8.5-point favorites against Virginia Tech, Cam. Total 42.5.
It's a lot.
I don't know if I can ever remember Minnesota being an 8.5-point favorite in a bowl game.
Know what it is, Gabe?
They're not a good bowl team either. They're an okay team. They're all right. I know the Big Ten's done well, but I wouldn't want to be laying 8.5.
It's reputation.
But we got to dive into Virginia Tech's problems too, like who's not playing and blah and all that stuff.
We do, but I'm also saying this line is based on an ACC perception and a Big Ten perception, and Minnesota should not be 8.5-point favorites in this game. I get it, PJ Fleck, he has these guys ready to play, but that feels like an inflated line due to the success of the Michigans of the world, of the Illinois of the world, and how bad the ACC has looked in these bowl games. Gabe, think about it. Look at the ACC teams. They're getting hammered, but I'm right now, I'm looking at Virginia Tech, and you're going to give me 8.5 against Minnesota? That's my first lean, but you're right. We will dig deeper.
How about this? I've got NFL playoff odds of the hypothetical matchups, which are pretty much nearly all of them are set in stone, right? There's only a few changes that can really happen here in the playoffs, but these are the hypothetical NFL playoff lines. The Buffalo Bills would host the Denver Broncos as of now. 7 versus 2. Bills are locked in at 2. Broncos going to be 7. So this is going to happen this game. The Bills are 7.5-point favorites. Buffalo minus 7.5, total 47.5. This is where this one's interesting. If the Detroit Lions lose on Sunday night, they go all the way from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. And suddenly, put it this way, guys, the best way of putting this is the Vikings-Lion loser will be going to Los Angeles, most likely after. So they're going to have to play the Rams. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites over the Rams, and the Vikings are 2.5-point favorites over the Rams right now. You can bet these games now. Green Bay Packers would be at Philadelphia. Only 2.5-point favorites over the visiting Green Bay Packers. Total 47.5. The Chargers at the Ravens. The Ravens minus 6.5, total 49.5. and or Chargers at Texans. Chargers 1.5-point favorites in Houston, 44.5. Pittsburgh Steelers at Baltimore Ravens. They would be 7.5-point underdogs. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. The Texans are 1.5-point favorites. And finally, in closing, this would be a fun football game. The Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cam.
Ooh, fun.
I like the over that game. Total's 49.5.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, who's the first team to 45, Gabe? Like with Baker Mayfield and Daniels, they'll just be airing it out. Interesting point you bring up. Pittsburgh was very close to, remember in that Baltimore game, don't let the final score fool you. Russell Wilson was going in for that touchdown, the fumble. A lot of things went very poorly for Pittsburgh in that game. That'd be an interesting matchup. Steelers versus Ravens, divisional rivals. Very, very cool stuff.
Those are the hypothetical NFL playoff matchups and the odds up right now. College basketball, looks like the Huskies are about to knock off the Terps, 74-69 with a couple of seconds left. Things are not going great for me on the hardwood here. I'm on the Beavers. They're down by 20. Like they're getting absolutely smoked. 72-51. Props to Loyola Marymount. I'm on Long Beach plus 4. I'm down by 12, but I also have over 137, and the in-game total is 150 right now. So it looks like we're going to hit that. There's actually a Hawaii game coming on, Cam, too. So there's this happy hour somewhere all the time. Yeah, Hawaii are playing. They play. There's Santa Barbara.
Tonight, yeah.
Santa Barbara plus 2.5 at Hawaii.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
Like they may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480? I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all people.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
Yeah, this is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency, SiriusXM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. We're at the intermission right now. We played 2 periods of play. The Vancouver Canucks have a 2-1 lead on the Seattle Kraken. As far as college basketball is concerned, Oregon Ducks, and shout out to our boy Zach, the Illinois fan, who's enjoying this win right now. They're rolling them 83-61. The Big Ten is on a roll. And you know, I like the Illini plus 4.5. I should just pull the trigger before the game started, and the total was only like 155.5, and now it's 180.5 in game, 83-61. This often happens, guys. Like, the college football team lost. They're the number one team in the country. They're back on campus. You know that campus. It's like Buffalo after a Monday morning after a tough loss, Cam. Like, town's all quiet. Everyone's depressed. Like, the Ducks got lit up yesterday, and now their basketball team's getting lit up. I should have known, like, the bad things would continue for them.
You're so right, Morency. I remember I go into, like, Seneca after, like, the Sabres blew a 4-goal lead. People were like, man, what the hell's wrong with our city? Like, the Bills are going to screw it up in the playoffs, and the Sabres can't hold a 4-goal. Like, it's all negativity. I'm like, can't we just play some blackjack, man? Relax. Everything's going to be. You're right, though. It kind of festers into each other, right? Like, that's the school. Like, if you're an Oregon Duck student, after the way Ohio State waxed you, that's going to be hard to recover from. Good call.
Let's bring in Big Card Julio right now. Maybe Julio's got a piece of Illinois. They're rolling the Ducks 87-63 right now.
Hey, I love a Happy New Year, Gabe and Cam. It's great to see Cam once again. And just like that, everyone, hey, Thursday Night Football is over with. So now we've got to hunker down on Thursdays in the wintertime, watch college basketball. I love this Illinois team with the freshman Lithuanian, Kasper Yakayunis, with the 7-foot Croatian and Ivicic. I love these guys. I'm just worried about Brad Underwood once we get to March, but we'll worry about that in March. This is a really good Illinois team that's only going to get better in the years to come, but this season they've been playing very well. Impressed with how they're playing. They are. 20 points up in Eugene. It's not easy to travel from Champaign-Urbana, central Illinois, all the way up to the far Pacific Northwest, and for them to dominate like this says a lot.
UC Riverside up 66-54 on Long Beach right now. Under 6 minutes remaining. In-game totals down to 144.5. I got over 137 in this game, and I'm about to lose with my Long Beach +4. Hawaii and Santa Barbara about to go off the board, guys. In about 10 minutes. Basically, when the show ends, we have some late-night basketball. Any opinion, Julio, on UC Santa Barbara and the Bows?
Yeah, -2.5 for Hawaii. Hawaii in conference games, you like them at home, so I'm going to take Hawaii -2.5, and probably it. I was thinking at the over 133.5, but I'll stick with the Rainbow Warriors -2.5.
What are you going to do, Cam?
Guys, I'm going to ride. I'm with Julio here. I'm probably going to ride the home team with Hawaii. Am I seeing Pacific winning as 14.5-point dogs outright, Gabe? We talked about the Canadian connection with the Tigers. They played San Francisco Dons. I think they're up very late in this
they're
game.
up by 3 late.
Up?
Yeah, they're up. They're up 3 late right now. And you're right; they were getting a ton of points in this game. We told you guys, Dave Smart is a great coach. He's a great basketball coach, and he's got them competing. Now they have been losing a lot, but I think they're like 6-8 against the spread or something like that. So they've covered some numbers, but this would be a nice win if they won the game outright. For them. Santa Barbara are 8-5 on the season, 5-6 against the spread. They're 3-8 to the under. But Hawaii are 7-3 to the over on the year because they usually have pretty low totals. Hawaii also 8-4 on the season, 8-2 on their home court. 8-2. Santa Barbara 2-3 on the road. And you look at Santa Barbara's current form here. Who the hell is WCF?
WCF.
Take a crack at this. They're coming off an 89-72 win against WCF University.
I was going to say something. Carolina, like Fairfield. What is WCF?
The West Cliff. I can't even know. I don't even know enough about to give you a clue. West Cliff Warriors University.
That sounds made up. That's made up. That's like the local YMCA team. That's not even real. Like, come on, Westcliff sounds like a bar.
I'm gonna look them up. West Cliff Warriors. Who the hell are these guys?
Who are these guys?
They hung around with Santa Barbara. I tell you.
Westcliff Warriors, Westcliff University. Here we go.
It's in Irvine, California.
So they're the Anteaters rivals. The Warriors and Anteaters playing in the same town.
I never even know this. They compete in the Pac-6 conference.
Pac-6? Okay. Who's there? Julio knows this. He's a low grade college guy. He knows
Was
all
this junior college?
Yeah, was it JUCO? It's got to be JUCO.
Never heard of these guys, man. Never heard of these guys.
I didn't know there was a Pac-6.
Division III?
Wow, I'm looking at this page. Westcliff beats Grand Canyon ladies in wrestling. Like, what the hell? What's going on here? Gabe, you got to investigate this school. I thought it was fake.
Jeremiah Paulino's out
ladies
wrestling. I'm on their ESPN page, and their schedule has one game. It says against Santa Barbara. That's the only game that exists online for them.
One game.
They kind of hung around, 89-72.
That's pretty good. I'm impressed with Westcliff.
That's pretty very good.
They kind of hung around. Hawaii, like you said, is 2.5 or 3.5 for the money line. Yeah, I'll go with the Bows here. I'm going to ride the Bows. If Matthias was here, he'd tell us, "Oh no, don't do it. He's Mr. Negative all the time." Julio, any opinion on the bowl games tomorrow?
I like the over 62.5 North Texas and Texas State, and my patent at over 13.5 in the first quarter. I think we get 2 touchdowns quickly in this Texas shootout.
Yeah, it should. I said that earlier. I think it's going to go over as well.
Classic Buffalo Sabres. You said it.
Oh, they blew it? 4-4, huh? They blew it?
They blew it.
Oh, 5-5 now.
4 seconds left. We're going to overtime.
Of course. It was plus 310 a couple of minutes ago. Damn.
As the candles flicker, a new tradition shines. 8 nights of Hanukkah, 8 nights of winning insights.
They may come out slow, so you might be able to get a better number. Wow, they're favored.
With SportsGrid, every night is another chance to win.
No pick sixes today, they cover. So let's crunch it up. Let's make it happen. Let's give you our favorite props.
Let your Hanukkah winnings brighten your celebrations. Happy Hanukkah from all of us at SportsGrid.
You basically predicted this, saying that if Texas, as expected, as nearly a 2-touchdown favorite, did beat Clemson, the odds were telling you they were only 10 cents behind Oregon entering the opening round.
I still feel that Oregon's one of the best teams in the country. You want to give me now from plus 350 to plus 480. I think it's great value. I think they match up very well against Ohio State.
College football today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the bet than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long.
You don't want them to go 13-0 and then lose the first round of the playoffs.
Red.
This is their last shot. They don't really have anywhere else to go yet.
Hot take.
By the time I hit, I guess what, Route 33 up here, that ticket's cashing.
Only on SportsGrid.
I don't like to toot my own horn, and I know that I'm setting myself up for probably disappointment later tonight, but I hope you were with us last week on the Final Five, because we almost swept the board. We had 2 out of 3 on the power play points with Reinhardt and Matthews. We hit the goal scorer line A. We hit the side with Washington. We hit the total with the over in Toronto and Buffalo. So we had a really good Final Five last week, and I'm hoping that we can now ride that wave.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, it's 91-69 right now for Illinois. There's 5 minutes left in the basketball game. The Ducks are trying to come back. They just can't get over they just can't go on a run. 91-69, 5 minutes left there. I kept hoping, and I'm wishful thinking that Long Beach could somehow backdoor this. They've been down by 7 and 8 all night, and I'm getting 4, and it's gone the other way. They're down by 18. Great job. UC Riverside rolling them. Man, now I got to sweat out my total, too. I'm at 130, and there's only 2 minutes left. I need 7 points in 2 minutes. UC Santa Barbara and Hawaii are getting ready to start. We pulled the trigger on the Bows on the money line. All right, we only got a couple of minutes. So, Julio, what are you looking at this weekend? What are your best bets? What's the big card have?
North Dakota State's national championship game on Monday night against Montana State. I like the Bison plus 135. Look, the Australian Open's coming up, and big Riley Opelka has been playing well since he's returned to injury. He's playing Novak Djokovic, depending on what part of the country you're in, 4 a.m., 3 a.m. So give me Riley Opelka plus 4.5 over 21 games. I'm going to sprinkle a little 10-1 on Opelka, just in case Novak second set just wants to get ready for the Aussie Open. All right, we've got a potential Arctic blast coming in 2 weeks, which is wild card weekend, which will only affect a certain amount of games. Baltimore's home game, home game, Buffalo's home game. So there's advanced lines out there. Totals around 47.
Interesting. Yeah,
49.5.
So you're saying get ahead of the weather and bet the unders?
Get ahead. Yes, bet not high limits, but get down what you feel comfortable with. Check the forecast because it could be we're talking maybe 20 to 40 below zero across the country. And again, it's only a certain amount of games. Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Buffalo. We're seeing totals between 47.5 and 49.5. So I'm looking at the under for those particular games. Everything else is either going to be West Coast or indoors for the first and second round of the playoffs. We've got over 53.5 Ohio State against Texas. And I know we're talking about Buffalo, but give me the Bulls -3 against Liberty in the Bahamas Bowl.
I'm on Buffalo too, Julio, and Colorado wins, Gabe. Cue the complete comeback.
Oh, they did, huh?
Yes, right in overtime. Bam, see you, Buff. What a disaster.
You know what? I just took the Avs. I took the Avs at -125. Yeah, but I didn't take, dude. I was looking at them, and they were, I don't know, whatever, like plus 550. I saw them at plus 310, and they were down by 1. I didn't even realize they were down 5-3 at one point, and then they came back again. This is two times in the last month that the Sabres have blown massive leads to the same team. So, yeah, at least that was a quick win. Didn't take long either. They scored early in overtime, I guess.
Yeah, put Buffalo to their misery real early. Don't even wait till the shootout. Just get it over with. Unreal. Man, that's crazy.
Speaking of which, I'm at 134 right now. I need 3 more points, and there's 59 seconds left in the basketball in Long Beach, Riverside. Oh boy. All right, so we're going to be on tomorrow night, and we're going to be on, like I said, the Minnesota-Virginia Tech game will be going on tomorrow night. Minnesota 8.5-point favorites in that game. Follow me online tomorrow. I'll come up and I'll dig in and come up with some props and some plays. The college football playoffs resume 7 days from now, next week. Notre Dame and Penn State. Notre Dame, 1.5-point favorites. Who are you looking at, Julio, in that game?
The Irish, Notre Dame, -1.5. I'm looking at plus 320 outright to win the college football playoff. I might take a little bit of that as well. I like this Notre Dame defense a lot in these college football playoffs. They've been playing very well.
Wow, it's going to end up being Notre Dame and Ohio State. As a Michigan fan, I have a hard time swallowing this one.
It's going to be miserable.
You'll be cheering for Notre Dame. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm starting to get the feeling that Ohio State are almost unbeatable right now. What do you think about Texas and Ohio State, Julio? What's your early lean?
I like the number. Give me Texas, even though it was the way that game finished yesterday against Arizona State. Give me Texas plus the points right now.
Tomorrow night at 10:00, actually, when we start the show, Nashville play the Vancouver Canucks. Not a great spot for the Canucks going back to back. They're playing right now against Seattle. Thanks to all of our guests for joining us tonight. Happy New Year to all. We'll catch you on the Friday Night Freak Show. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.
As the